All right, welcome back to the D.C Podcast. My name's D Money. This is your new co-host,
Julia.
I don't know if you guys read the description in the last video, all 5 of you who watched the last podcast, but we're currently undergoing a new staffing event where the old co-host Caesar is now gone. That's not due to any personal problems between both co-hosts. That's just because I never see him enough to actually record the podcast. However, this girl's like always bothering me about being on the podcast, so she's here now.
Yeah.
So go ahead and introduce yourself. Tell us a little bit more about yourself.
Okay, well, like I said, my name is Julia. I am a college student. I study graphic design. I come from an art background, but I wanted to do commercial art. And I really like it. I'm really involved in that. I also love cats. I'm a huge cat lady. And I have my own cat, and I care for other cats, too. So, yeah, that's pretty much all there is to me.
Speaking about cats, or speaking of cats, you actually currently have a baby cat on your lap right now.
Yeah.
Our little Yumi. She's just kind of being annoying. We had to separate her from her sister because this little, 1.5-month-old cat kept on attacking her bigger 10-month-old cat sister, and she kept on getting her ass beat.
Yeah.
So it got to the point where the older cat, being much stronger and not aware of how strong she is, was being really aggressive towards the baby cat, and I got scared, so I separated them.
Well, let's be fair. Yumi was constantly attacking Lily. Lily was just trying to take her shower, but Yumi attacked her. And Yumi is much more aggressive, even though Lily is bigger. Lily is more gentle with the baby, and she doesn't use her claws on her. So yeah, Yumi's a little troublemaker.
Yeah, no, for sure. Yumi, she'll go out of her way to fight Lily. Lily will love and nurture her, being a bigger cat, and Yumi being a small baby. But Yumi will take that as an act of aggression and will start attacking her. I think that's just because she's young, or that's just how they play or whatever. I don't know. I've never owned 2 cats at the same time, but I'm willing to bet that Yumi's just an idiot. But also, speaking of cats and all that, Yumi, she's a domestic short-haired cat. She's gray with white and black stripes basically, or she's kind of brown too. I don't know. She looks like if you took a tabby cat and made it an orange tabby and just turned it into a gray cat, you know.
And she's currently sleeping on me.
Yeah. So she's currently on her lap. So one of the movies that we just recently saw was Pet Sematary. It's a movie based off of a Stephen King novel. And what's it called? Yumi actually resembles the cat from the movie a lot. So the movie revolves around a family who just moved to this no-name town in the middle of was it Mississippi or something?
I have no idea. Some country.
Yeah, some country. And basically there's a weird group of people who bury pets in the specific pet cemetery. And then behind that, it was on some ancient Indian burial ground, or not Indian, I guess, Native American, burial ground. And if you go past a specific place, you'll go into this land of the Wendigos, which is folklore for Native Americans. It's some
I
kind
can't
of
believe you remember the name of that.
Yeah, well, yeah. So it's some kind of humanoid demon thing. And if you bury a dead person or cat or whatever, it's something that's dead in there instead of in traditional the dirt, then they come reanimated. And a whole conundrum happens with them where the people who are reanimated that are buried there, they're not actually the people that died. They're just demons who took over, or Wendigos that took over the body of the people buried there. And one of the people or animals that was buried there was a little kitty that looked like Yumi. And the whole time we were watching the movie, it was pretty sad.
Yeah. But Yumi is obviously a little baby, and that cat was really messed up. So
yeah, the cat, it was obviously a grown ass cat, but it got fucked up. It got what would it get hit by a car or something?
I don't know, something happened.
Yeah. And just imagining Yumi dying, that was pretty sad. The movie it wasn't amazing, but it wasn't bad. It was definitely mid. It wasn't a horror movie like it says it was. It was more of a thriller, suspenseful movie.
I definitely was not content with the movie, especially the ending. It felt like it had to keep going, but it just stopped very strangely. The whole ending was...
It was very ominous.
It was fast-paced, but not in a... It wasn't very interesting.
I guess you can kind of...
Very predictable.
Yeah, well, so since the movie, it's been out for a few weeks now, so I guess there's not really much to spoil. If you've seen it, you've seen it because you'd want to go see it. If you haven't seen it, then it's because it's not worth your time to see it. And there's another movie almost like exactly the same as it that came out in like 98 or something, 89, some I don't know, something like that.
I guess this was a remake of
Yeah,
that.
it was technically a remake. And so with the old movie and the new movie, it ends with the father, the daughter, the son, the cat, and the wife being dead.
Spoilers.
Well, it's not a spoiler. Like I said, if they've seen it, they've seen it. If they haven't, then they haven't.
Oh.
It's whatever at this point. Like, if you can spoil Endgame now, you can spoil the Pet Cemetery. And yeah. So they all like the movie. Both of them end with like essentially the dead family that was buried inside the like Wendigo cemetery that reanimates them. They just come back to life and they wreak havoc on the town. In the original movie, like the father of the family, he buries the wife or something, and she comes back, and then she kills him, takes him to the cemetery, and then the list goes, just goes on and on. In the remake, the one we just saw, the father actually so he buries the daughter because she dies first. Then he locks the kid up in his like son in a car while the daughter's trying to murder the whole family because again she's a fucking demon or whatever, possessed. Then the daughter murders the mom. She tries taking her to the cemetery. They have a big fight. It's supposed to be the climax of the movie. It's not really like it's like I don't know. It's like a low key fight between the dad and his like possessed 9-year-old daughter, and then like eventually like the mom comes back to life because the daughter buried her, and then kills the dad. Then they come back like quote unquote alive, and they go to the car where the kid was, and it's like just all of it was kind of like. It's kind of a drag to watch.
Yeah, especially when the whole family, besides the small boy, when all the family became the weird demon, it was just people, very like strange. I didn't care. I really didn't care about the family at that point.
Like coming from
even the little boy, they didn't give a lot of character to the little boy. So
he was like 4 though.
At the end, yeah, but a little kid can still have character. And at the end, when he was the last one, I didn't care.
Yeah, like what's a 4-year-old kid gonna do?
Like, oh, he's gonna become the demon. Oh,
I guess it's like sad that they're gonna kill him because that the moment they get out of that car, they're gonna bring him to the cemetery, murder him, then like bury him and let him get possessed. But like,
yeah, but because he didn't have much development, I didn't really care.
Yeah, it was definitely whatever. I don't know. And like coming from Stephen King, where he has movies like Children of the Corn, It, like he has the new It and the old one. Like even the old one was really fucking good and scary. Children of the Corn, that one was fucked up. Then, damn, was Children of the Corn the one where... Yeah, it's the one where the town is like... A town's entirely possessed by kids who sacrifice adults...
I believe so.
...to some kind of monster in a cornfield.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't know, just like a Stephen King movie being like... Or a novel being butchered like that. It's definitely like... It's kind of sad. Just because like he writes them so well. And obviously you have to adapt them for like movie screens. And you don't want like... You don't want to show like really macabre, like fucked up shit that Stephen King thinks about.
Yeah.
But it's also like, you kind of got to, pay homage to the actual story itself.
Yeah. Because like probably the originals of all of those are much more interesting than the movie adaptions. And I would love to have seen the book versions.
Yeah. And it's like, it's kind of messed up. But like to end it off, I would have at least preferred to have like, I get they left it off for suspension where it's just like the door, like the car unlocking that the kid was in. And then like you having the assumption that they murdered the kid. But like, I feel like it'd be like more climactic to have like it'd pull on heartstrings more if the baby died. The young son. Like if they showed that, him getting murdered. Cause it's like one of the weirdest things is like human fascination with like torture. So it's like you can talk to someone about like the daily news or whatever, or you can talk to them about someone being mauled in like a wood chip shredder, Jesus Christ, a wood chip shredder, and they'd be more interested in the person being mauled, even though it's a really sad story. So like, kind of kill off the kid to give more to the audience, And it's like, it's not like the kid actually dies. It's just a movie, but it would just be more captivating in that sense. But
I agree.
But like, I guess like imagining a baby dying, that'd be pretty sad. Cause like if my Yumi died, Like I'd be really sad. Like that cat died, and I was like, oh no. But like imagining Yumi in her place because they look alike. Yeah. It's like, damn.
Or Lily. Lily, especially because she's older.
I don't know. Yumi looks like her. That's why it was easier to imagine her being dead, I guess. But like, speaking of babies, right? A recent baby that was born. So
interesting.
Dying babies. No. So enough with talking about the death of babies. Let's talk about the life of babies. So two famous people, quote unquote famous people, had just recently had babies. And I say quote unquote just because like I don't count Amy Schumer as a famous person. She's just like some really obnoxious.
Oh, did she give birth too?
Yeah, her baby was because
her pregnancy looked so hard. Like she was always in pain and like throwing up all the time.
Mm-hmm. Someone who also gave birth was Meghan Markle. Was she the Princess of Sussex?
She's the
Duchess of
Go.
Sussex.
Yeah.
Sex. Yeah. So you can't really compare pregnancies because obviously they're different for everyone else. But Meghan Markle, I guess like you could say is because they wouldn't let her broadcast her pregnancy, but she handled it a lot better.
I saw her walk out with her baby like nothing, and I was like, what the heck? She's just straight up wearing a suit.
Right. And then there's like people like Amy Schumer who like I get like they want like what she did with her pregnancy was she highlighted all the troubles of it and like showing like the reality of how pregnancy is actually like kind of messed up.
Yeah.
You know, and that like the woman struggles a lot to give birth. But she kind of did it really obnoxiously. Like she didn't like broadcast it so that she could show like the struggles of a mother. She just did it to be funny. And
I don't know if she did it to be funny.
I mean, that's just
she definitely put herself out there.
That's her whole character. Like
it is, but
like, let me be obnoxiously funny, you know?
Yeah, but at the same time,
I mean, she has every right to do what she wants to do.
Seeing her throw up is always strange. Not something.
Yeah, that's something that you want to see.
Not the worst thing. Like, obviously, understanding that people want to show like the struggles of pregnancy, but
right,
it's still kind of gross.
Yeah, like.
At least we have the choice to see it. If you
can
don't want to.
You can use whatever you want to use as a powerful statement for whatever you believe in, and obviously, like something that's like people don't understand is that women have to go through a lot with pregnancies, and like even like when they're not pregnant, and like a lot of people don't actually captivate like the idea of what it's like to be pregnant. They just assume that like, oh, pregnancy is hard because you're carrying a baby, but it's like it's not just
maybe guys do.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like.
Yeah, but it's not, it's like, obviously you're not just carrying a baby, you're like having all these like different like pregnancy symptoms or whatever is going on, and like I think she did a really good job showing what it's like to, like, showing the reality of what pregnancy is.
Yeah.
And then Meghan Markle, it's not that she did a bad job. It's just like, she did a good job keeping it private. Mm-hmm. She really like, she was really reserved with it. She didn't like really post a lot about it. I feel like
She well, I don't know if you know this, but she's not allowed to have a social media.
Yeah, but they have a joint House of Sussex.
Okay.
So the Instagram account.
Okay.
And like, like I guess like the royals.
She doesn't personally post on there. I'm
no,
sure
I'm
like
sure
some
they have
sort
like
of
an
like
assistant or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, but what's it called? Yeah, Yumi's just being really cute, falling asleep. No, but even though like she still has rights over her baby. She has rights over her image.
Of course.
So she could post like she could let photos leak or whatever.
Well, I mean, which is interesting though, because like she talks about her dreams and how she wants to have like a political presence and all that. But technically, as long as she's a part of the royal family, she's not allowed to. So
what do you mean? Like, what do you mean? Like,
when you're a part of the royal family, you're not allowed to have a visible affiliation in terms of which side of the government you're.
Yeah, you're just supposed to be like part of the monarchy.
You have to be very politically neutral.
Yeah, because you don't want to upset half of the country and make half of the country happy. You want to be like as in the gray as possible. Which
is interesting though, because she recently talked about how she wants to in the future be much more politically active. She can't really do that though. So
I feel like she can't do that at the moment. But like when people, when you just assume because you can't do it now, it means you'll never be able to do it. That's where you fall into that complacency line.
Well, maybe her and Harry right? Harry.
Do we know him as Harry?
I don't know.
Prince William.
I don't remember. I don't even know. Is that his brother? I don't know. But maybe they're gonna leave the. No. Maybe the one day they'll leave the royal family, because he's known to be kind of
rebellious.
Yeah.
Different, like
right.
Go against his
brother
as
well, I think. So.
Well, his brother cheated on his wife, so I'd say that's pretty rebellious.
Yeah.
But maybe that's a moniker of the royal family, because didn't Prince Charles cheat on Princess Diana or whatever?
Yeah, something like that. Diana.
Okay, I got it right. Yeah, so it's like maybe it runs in the family, you know? Mm. Or because Harry is rebellious, he just won't cheat on Meghan Markle. Yeah. What's it called? But yeah, so you fall into the line of complacency if you just assume that because it's not being done now, it'll never be done. You know, like a lot of regular people, they'll just be like, oh, I can't, like this product doesn't exist, this rule doesn't exist, so it means it'll never exist. But like everything we have in place now at some point didn't exist. Like people didn't just like think, like, you know, computers weren't just like born out of the ground. People had to be like, oh, there needs to be a way to process like information and all that like really fast and get it across multiple, you know, countries, places, different areas. So they made the data transfer systems. They made they made phones. They made different ways to communicate with each other. Then they had like to find a way to like store all that information. So like supercomputers were made and everything. And then like they kind of like made it more general to the public, and then how like the personal computer came to be, you know, like just like going along with, because it doesn't exist now or it doesn't happen means that it'll never be in existence is kind of whack, you know. And I feel like Meghan Markle, she really embodies that, because like she's not a traditional duchess.
No,
you know, she doesn't fall in line with what the royal family wants from her, and like that's why she's kind of been in the tabloids recently. So it's like because she like takes charge and like is constantly talking to her assistants, constantly, you know, like up their ass basically about what she wants or what they should do for the day. She's kind of seen as a bad guy, because like the royal family, I guess like for them it's just like let the assistants do what they got to do. They know their job. You know, you just stay back and be the kind of the face of it. Yeah. And I'm sure they do more than that, but it's like that's what it's making it out to seem. And like it seems like she's arrogant just because she's active with like politics and all that for her like whatever.
Just to be clear, are you talking about when she was quote unquote being demanding about like, the menu of some event?
Well, yeah, kind of. Well, her wedding or something.
No,
it was recent. Like it was where she would
like ask for a vegan option or something.
Vegan option for the
maybe
menu.
It was just like vegetarian.
She wanted like the chapel or whatever wherever the thing was being held at. She wanted it to smell like vanilla because it smelled kind of old. And I was like, you know, if it smells old, it smells old. Like, if you want to change it, I don't see why that'd be bad. You know, I guess it'd be offensive to people, because it was a church, I think, that she wanted to change the smell.
Churches usually don't smell very good.
Yeah.
And there's a whole cleaning process to them.
Yeah, but it's like, I mean, if she wants it, if it's a temporary smell, she's not going to, like, rearrange the whole church. Then it's like, I don't see why that's bad. Like, people chastise her for thinking differently than she's, like, quote-unquote supposed to. And I feel like...
Well, that family has a very long tradition.
That family, the royals, like the top tier, like face of the government for what is it, England? That family. Yeah, just to refer them so
Their
this is like
family.
lowly. Yeah. Well, I mean, technically Harry, William, all of them are still part of that family.
I'm talking about the Markles.
The Markle. Oh, it's just the Markle, one Markle.
No, the father.
He's not part of the picture, really.
Yeah, I know, but...
The mom is, but, like, I don't know. Her father's kind of a scumbag.
It's interesting to mention them, though.
Yeah, I guess. So we were talking about how Meghan's kind of, like, going against, like, the current wave of how you should be a royal. Like, you know, you should be a royal. And another person who's never, like, really been complacent, and although they don't have, like, the best reputation in the world... They are like a reputable person. It's Kim Kardashian. We talked about her 2 episodes ago on the podcast, or her sister Kylie. So one of them, you know. And what was interesting about her is that she wants to get some kind of degree as a lawyer or something. Not necessarily, I think, her law degree, but she's going to be taking the bar in California.
Wait, she's like actually trying to get some sort of like
law degree or something. I don't know if it's necessarily to be a lawyer, but that's what they're saying. you know, I don't know the specifics of it, but I know she wants to get a degree in law, and she's gonna take the bar exam in 4 years, which is the official exam to become a lawyer. You know, and people are giving her a lot of flack for it, saying, "Oh, she has no like place in politics. Why doesn't she just go model or something? Why doesn't she just like?"
I think that's a terrible thing to say, especially since she's so affluent. People are always complaining about the fact that affluent people aren't doing anything. Well, here she is trying to do something.
And people are like talking shit about her, saying she should just stick to like Instagram and stuff.
Whether it's genuine or if it's for an image, at least she's like, it's actually having an impact on.
Yeah, and people, like one of the recent things is that a few days ago, or I think like last week or something, she actually she helped free another inmate that was locked up for, I think it was drug possession. It was non-violent drug possession or something like that. And what her and you know, the Donald Trump are actually doing is they passed some kind of act. It's called the First Step Act, and what it is, it's like a kind of a reform to help inmates who've been incarcerated for like, I guess like a non-violent first offenses or something. I think it's just non-violent first offenses. I don't know if it's specific to non-violent like drug charges, but what it's set to do, it came into act last year, I think, is that it's just like an initiative to get people who are like overly jailed in like a huge like penitentiary for just like having drugs on them or having something like doing something that didn't physically hurt another human being. And she's been like a really strong advocate for it. And like you know, you have all these people who are like, oh man, I really support this, or like I like really support the motion of like helping people, but they don't actually do it. You know, she's actually going out of her way to spend time like dedicating, you know, she spends time out of her life dedicated to just helping these people who, like, while they should be reprimanded for like, you know, a crime, they shouldn't have to spend their life in prison for something that other people get let loose for.
Where are you saying like there's actually people that are in prison for life for non-threatening first offenses?
That's just a generalization, but like there's people who are serving a lot of time in jail
when they shouldn't be.
Whereas there's people who rape other humans. You know, there's people who assault other people who get like a few months probation, or just like
something, you know, slap on,
like
that.
Something like stupidly small, just because like their name or because they're a good kid. Like I swear, you know. And it's like she's making sure that like weird schism between who should and shouldn't be in jail gets kind of broken, which is, you know, break the schism, like you're breaking something that's already broken, you know. But yeah, it's like insane to see how people can like continuously talk bad about her, because dude, in 2007 she made a sex tape, like as if that devalues her as a person, or devalues everything she's done since then. Like dude, she you know, she's only famous because she made a sex tape. Like, yeah, cool. Well, it doesn't matter how you got famous, just as long as you got famous and use it for something better. You know, like what does it matter that she had sex on camera? As if people don't just have sex. You know, like the difference is that it was recorded and someone posted it without her permission. You know, how is she in control of that? You know, just get over the fact that she had a sex tape. There's like a bunch of people who like talk shit about her sex tape are probably the people who bought it. You know. And it's like, bro, just like,
yeah, when I was like
you're so
2
above
years old.
Yeah, you're so above someone having a sex tape. Yeah, you like these little fucking horny people are on like Pornhub. They're like on Pornhub or something looking up people's sex tapes, and they're just they're so morally above Kim Kardashian because of that. Like, bro, just leave her alone. What did she do to you? And then people just like, they just assume she's a dumb bimbo and can't actually go to law school, you know, go quote unquote law school. I don't know if she's like going to a traditional
Apparently
law school.
She was really mean in high school though. There's like an episode where she goes in to her old classmates and apologizes for being so mean.
I mean, I wouldn't put it past her. High school kids in general are just really fucking mean.
Yeah.
You know, I get anxiety walking past a group of high school kids in like Jewel or something, or like
Jewel.
a Target, you know.
At school.
Yeah, at school. There's little kids walking around on campus in a group with their school, and I just like
so the preschool's visiting.
just like dash by them, you know, just because I don't want to be bullied by them, even though I'm older. No, but what's it called? Yeah, it's just really interesting to like know what people will and won't support, despite it being their own words. Like, she's using her fame for something greater than just like getting sponsorships and getting more money. She's dedicating her time and money to helping people which is what, like, you know, what the common people want rich and famous people to do. But here she is doing it, and no one cares because she had a sex tape. You know, it's like really fucked up how people like have.
Do people really not care? I'm sure there's a lot of
no. There's definitely. I'm
it.
sure the people who she's helped really care. You know, I'm sure the people who don't have their head shoved up their ass and will look at a person for what they're doing and not what they've done will like really appreciate what she's been doing. You know, but like I feel like we've talked about the Kim Kardashian enough on the podcast. Yeah. You know, because like I talked about her the first. Yeah, just an affinity for the Kardashian crew, the whole club of Kardashians.
All right. Well, speaking of crime. True crime. So, we don't live in Elmhurst, but we won't reveal where we live.
Illinois.
But in Elmhurst, Illinois, recently there's been some backlash because we've had a release of a certain inmate who was part of the 1980s Ripper Crew.
And for those of you who don't know, the 1980s Ripper Crew was a group of like 3 or 4 men who all concocted.
More, I think.
Yeah, well, it was just a group of like really fucked up people who would go around picking up these random women they would see that looked defenseless, and you know it'd be the basic scene where they would abduct her, abuse her sexually, you know, and then abuse her physically too, like beyond that, and then they would murder them and just ditch them for wherever they were.
Yeah, and weirdly enough, some at least 3 of them I think were brothers. The youngest brother was released, and there was also a few others, but at the time they were actually teenagers, and the women were my age, 20 or around that age.
Yeah, they were like, I want to say they were like legal age of consent, but like not that really matters, but like they weren't like little like defenseless like kids. No. They were like fully grown people, and they overtook these women and just like brutally murdered them. Yeah, you know, and like Elmhurst, Illinois, that's a town close to where we live, right? And there's like a whole lot of like commotion in that town because that's where we go to school.
Yeah,
and like there's just a bunch of people who are really upset that the guy's being released after like all those gruesome murders because like 3 of the 4 people that were convicted
or more.
Well, bro, 3 of the 4 people in like that crew that were convicted for those crimes all faced the death sentence, right? Or was it 2?
They were killed. They were put to death.
Yeah.
But I'm saying, I don't think it was just the 3 of them. I think there was more.
I'm saying that there was only 4 people convicted.
Was there really only 4 people?
It was convicted? 4 of the group that was convicted. 3 of them, I think, 2 of them faced the death penalty. 1 of them just died of like old age or something. And then this last guy, he just got life in prison. He didn't actually get like the death sentence like people wanted him to get, and now he doesn't even have to face life in prison. He's just getting let free. I don't know why. Behavior. Yeah, I guess.
So there were certain laws passed around the time of the crime. The death penalty was somehow, I guess, abolished during the sentencing. So his brothers were put to death, but
he wasn't able to be put to death.
He was not. Yeah. He got life because of the laws at the time. He was able to get out early on good behavior, and apparently he's going to be living in a halfway house for about a month. Then his brother, he will actually be living with his younger brother. Oh, yeah.
I thought the younger brother was dead.
No, the younger brother, it was much younger when the crime happened.
Oh, so he wasn't part of the group.
Yeah, well, apparently this guy like found God, all this stuff. He's not speaking to the press, which is very interesting. Because a lot of people want to know what he's thinking, what's in his head, because terrible things were done.
Yeah, well, I guess like if you found God, you don't feel the need to justify to the like common folk. You know, as long as God forgives me,
yeah.
Why do I have to like explain myself to these people? They know what I did, and I hope all that can happen is from my repenting. They'll forgive me. But it's like,
I think he's
brother,
saying
you
that.
Savagely murdered a bunch of women in the area. Like no one's going near you feeling safe.
And what's terrifying is it was in the morning. This girl was opening up a store.
That her family owned
at Elmhurst. I don't remember if it was, well, maybe
it was I'm pretty sure it was family owned, and they just like abducted her in broad daylight. Like that's like some ballsy shit.
Yeah.
Like there's people who will abduct like other people and they'll like plan it out like very like meticulously. They'll like find like every in and out and make sure there's nothing that can tie it back to them, and make sure that the person goes unnoticed for a while, so that like all the evidence or whatever that they do leave behind can like kind of disappear. Basically, I don't know. They're like, they'll mastermind the whole plot to kidnap someone, but these guys just abducted them like straight out in the morning. Didn't care like what like ties they left unknotted.
Well, they were dumb kids.
Yeah, they're just
it was
teenagers.
Also a satanic cult, I believe.
Was it?
I guess they which is interesting that he found God, but
but he
worshipped
worshipped Satan, I guess. Yeah. That's kind of messed up.
It's
But
scary.
I guess where Satan fails you, God won't. I don't know.
Oh my God! But
Literally,
there's something. Yeah. Oh my God!
Yeah.
Yeah, that. But there's something very interesting about that kind of stuff. Very enticing to learn about it, even though it's so gruesome. So. Yeah,
especially like like again, like I was talking about this earlier, where like humans are like they're like born to love like tragedy. Like the most appealing thing ever is something that's tragic, as long as it doesn't happen to you, right?
Right.
Like
it's the most interesting story.
Like if someone gets like butchered, thrown into like a pig pen, and then eaten, and then like the pig shit them out, and like cops find their bones in like the pig shit. Everyone who hears that story, they're gonna be like, "Whoa, how did this all happen? I want a documentary on this." But the family that had someone that they care about brutally murdered, they're gonna be like, bro, this isn't like some kind of story for you to just like pique your fancy at. This is my family member. Like that's always like there's always like really strange to think about. But what's even worse is that as much as tragedy is enticing to the human mind, like tragedy ends at some point. Like there's a specific end for which like a tsunami has gone away and they can't do any more damage. Like someone's been dead, they can't die anymore. But then it's like kind of like leaving it on the cliff, like a cliffhanger, where it's like, well, maybe this person's dead, but that killer hasn't been found. That killer hasn't been caught. They could still potentially be on the loose.
Just like the Tylenol killer.
Yeah, like a Jack Ripper kind of situation. Jack the Ripper, where it's like no one ever knew like who he was or how he murdered. Well, I guess they knew how he murdered them, but they never knew why he did it, or what like his motivation for it. And that's why like Jack the Ripper is like a crazy like very, very captivating story, because not only do you have this like whole like bloodline of like just like this like disgusting macabre violence, you have someone who's never been able to claim the title and explain why everything happened the way it did. So now it's like that story is kind of ingrained in like like the history of like crazy murders, because there's no end to it. Like obviously the dude's probably dead by now, but because he's dead, his story has to live on, because there's never going to be an actual absolute end to it. And like a lot of people like, well, what was not the Ted Bundy one that just came out? What was that documentary about the guy with Ross Lynch? He was the main star.
Ross Lynch. Oh,
it was like
My Friend Dahmer.
Yeah, Jeffrey Dahmer. Like they were able to capture him and talk to him, and that was really interesting. Just getting inside the mind of a crazy murderer. Something
you realize they can't control. Well, maybe not, but something very strange. Very foreign to somebody who's not like that.
Yeah, and like with Jeffrey Dahmer, I feel like a lot of the documentaries that he's like that have been about his life, a lot of like the biopics or something like that, whatever they're called, a lot of those movies that they're made after him and all the interviews he's had, they were meant to expose, and obviously it was for the press to get like their like they want to be the first ones to interview Jeffrey Dahmer. They want to be the first ones to have Jeffrey Dahmer say this to them. They did it for their name and for the sake of the news source. But like a lot of the articles that were published about him, a lot of the videos that came out about him, the stories and everything, what happened was it kind of created a cult for Jeffrey Dahmer, because people began to sympathize with him. They began to rationalize and kind of feel bad for the guy, because they're like, a lot of people were like, oh, he's probably like mentally ill. Why are we like subjugating him to all these like harsh like laws and like treating him like as if he's like any other like person on the street? Obviously this guy, like especially back then, mental illness was like more of a disease than like a disorder.
Mm-hmm.
And people treated them like they weren't normal human beings.
Right.
People with
mental
illnesses, you know, they treated them like they weren't humans.
Yeah.
And
well,
so
still today. Sometimes.
Yeah, no, definitely. Like it's slightly better today, but it's not like to the point where people understand like the full grasp and like fully grasp how mental illness can affect a person.
Yeah, like the controversial group we call Autism Speaks. Always, for a long time it's been accused of being that way, where they don't really take into account the needs of the people they serve. Rather, they try to like eradicate who they are. I don't know.
Well, yeah, so that's like what you're talking about is for-profit charities. So, you know, charities who've built themselves a huge name on the basis of helping a group of people who've been affected by, you know, mental disorders, diseases, things that they really can't control. But rather than using the funds that they receive to help those people, they're for-profit, and they use those funds to fund themselves. You know, like what's it called? So that they won't like dedicate that money to helping the people they promise to help. They'll dedicate it to like getting their name out there. You know, they'll dedicate that money back into their own like spending account basically, and they'll use whatever they can to buy ads, you know, buy like a bunch of different ways to get their name known so that they can then get more money.
I hear that they use most of their money for advertisements.
Yeah, so a lot of for-profits try to, you know, they'll do that. But like because like no one ever wants to speak out about, you know, large groups, and no one ever educates themselves on what the money that they donate actually goes to. You know, there's not really any way to get around. Like, you know,
I wouldn't say nobody.
Well, I mean, there's definitely people, but it's like,
I definitely look into who I'm giving money to.
Yeah, but it's also like a dangerous game to play, because do you want to be the guy who goes against like, you know, a huge like charity, you know, emphasis on charity.
I think not donating isn't really going against them.
No, but like, do you want to speak out about them and like call out all their financial statements and say, oh, like you guys can donate all you want to this group, but they're not actually helping the people you think they're helping?
Nowadays, it's a little easier with social media. People are more aware. If you can post that kind of stuff, it can gain traction. Much easier, I think.
Yeah, but do you want to be the guy who says, hey, this foundation for this specific illness is like trash, they're not actually helping people? You know, well, like do you want to be that kind of person? Like like you have to take a really big risk in order to like combat those kind of for-profit charities. Mm-hmm. One of the charities that is like, well, I guess it's not really a charity, it's just an organization, is PETA. You know,
those guys.
That's like, to me, that's a form of like, kind of like a rougher organization where
they're more rough.
They're more blunt.
Rough.
I'll say they're really blunt. Like, one of the campaigns they had was they had their own like little mini video game, and it was stylized after like the Pokemon franchise, and obviously it was because they wanted to make a macabre version to show like the reality of animals fighting each other. And it was like the Pokemon were tortured. They had like stupid names for them. You know, they made Ash Ketchum the series lead, like to be a really bad guy. But it's like yeah, I get that you think that it's trying to like show that these like animals should be fighting each other, but it's not that serious, dude. You know, like there's people like, what's the difference between Pokemon having these fictional little monsters fight each other, and then like shows like Game of Thrones where these big dragons are going, you know, there's like dragons everywhere, there's all these like mythical creatures, and they're just getting slain left and right.
People are fighting.
Yeah, like what's the difference between, you know, those mythical creatures and the Game of Thrones ones? Like, well, like why wouldn't you like make a whole series dedicated to messing with Game of Thrones? Or why wouldn't you make a whole series that, you know, like there's a bunch of stuff where like you're attacking like a specific group of people or like a specific thing, when there's multiple different like companies or whatever that like they kind of replicate that thing you're against. So for PETA, like I think they might have made a Digimon game too about like the abuse of Digimon. But it's heck? Like I don't remember. But like, why wouldn't you, like, if they didn't, why wouldn't you go after Digimon? Why don't you go after every single thing that shows two like animal like beings fighting each other for the pleasure of others?
Yeah, they did a really interesting thing where they had these politically correct versions of sayings we use every day. I don't remember many of them, but one of them was killing two birds with one stone, where that's seen as an offensive term because it's like putting animals in danger. And I don't remember what the other versions were of them, but there's a couple of
hot dog that makes people lock their dogs inside of
hot
cars.
dog. No, but there was like a bunch of like there's a bunch of sayings that we use in everyday like in our everyday conversations that involve animals, like sayings. And I guess they're deemed offensive, and they have like these quote unquote politically correct ways saying these things, and it's very strange, really weird. No animal is gonna understand you, so I don't understand why.
From what I understand is that they only really care about animals, like, you know, blood, like the red blood kind of shit, with like either scales, feathers, or fur, or like hair. But do they care about the insects?
Well,
because insects are part of our ecosystem too,
right? And animals eat each other and insects.
Yeah. So like,
I'm confused now.
So what's the difference between
I'm confused about PETA.
Like a wolf eating like an elk versus us eating an elk?
What's the difference?
Like, you're not gonna go up to a wolf and show it like a pie chart on like how much health, like the ways its health can increase by being vegan, you know?
Oh my god. No, but like there are actual people who make their pets vegan.
Yeah, which is really bad for them.
Messed up.
Like
that makes me really sad.
Yeah, like I've read articles about this. Like it's always the same lady who who's turned her cats into vegans, and she won't give them obviously like any dairy products, any meats, and
dairy
any
is not that important.
any animal byproducts. You know, she won't give them any of that. Which is, and like the vet's always telling her, yeah, like your cats can get like all their needed sustenance from like these vegetables and fruits and stuff. However, you know, since I can't stop you, I can just make sure you are informed. But because like all these like meats and all this like scientific formula cat food that we give you or we recommend is like really like jam packed full of these nutrients, I can't guarantee the lettuce, the carrots, or whatever you buy will like be enough for the cat unless they eat like an obscenely large amount. You know, I can't guarantee their nutrients are gonna be like all like sourced in one day with you giving them these foods, because they're gonna get filled up on the food before they get their fix of nutrients, you know?
Yeah, that's probably really bad for their bowels too. Like, imagine just eating raw vegetables,
or like meat alternatives like tofu and stuff. Like, you can't guarantee.
Oh my god! Don't give your cat tofu.
Yeah, you can't guarantee like the cat's diet or like any animal's diet is gonna be like one. I guess unless it's a rabbit or something. You can't guarantee they'll be like a vegan diet's good for them, you know? And it's like
rabbits are vegan. I don't even think that
rabbits are vegan confirmed.
Yeah, except I don't even think so, because I think they eat. Don't they eat insects? I don't know. I think they like worms.
I thought you were just gonna leave it off as I think they eat. Like, yeah, I'm pretty sure they eat. Question of the day: do rabbits actually eat? We had a rabbit for a short while. She ate a lot.
However, did she ever eat meat?
Meat? Yes, I'd catch her in the kitchen sometimes cooking a steak.
Oh no!
It smelled really good though. It was fine though.
And then you had dinner.
Yeah, well, the rabbit was the dinner. Well, that's why I said we had a rabbit.
Whoa.
No, but my rabbit, she had her like little pellets of food for like all her like nutrition and stuff, but she would also have little carrots as snacks. We'd give her lettuce. Then eventually we stopped giving her lettuce and carrots.
So she was vegan?
Yeah, no,
she was vegan.
Yeah, she was vegan. It was confirmed.
Okay, well, that's all that matters.
Yeah, like as long as she's vegan, it's fine. She
can be a part of your family.
Yeah, so yeah, she is. If she's vegan, she's part of the family. That's that. No, but speaking of vegans, like I feel like there's some people who are stupid about it, but I feel like people who just like generally do like are vegans for health purposes and don't follow that arrogant stereotype. I feel like I just feel bad for them because it's like they can't be openly free about their veganism.
Oh, I know what you mean. Yeah.
Just because like it's like if you tell someone you're vegan, they're gonna be like, "Bro, we get it, you're vegan." But it's like, well, why ask then? You know? And like, what's it called?
No, there's plenty of people that I don't find to be that way, but are vegan. Not personally, but celebrities.
Oh, I was like, how many vegans? You know? Like,
No.
And like the fact that we're referring to them as like solely vegans, yeah, like the vegans has such a negative connotation to it. But it's like they're just existing bros, you know?
For some people it's right, and for others it's not. For some people, like, it's actually very beneficial to their health.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, if you're not like,
and yeah,
I mean,
vegans.
if you're not really annoying about it and you're very rational, then like, who cares? That's cool. You're probably way more healthy than I am.
Yeah, like you had like a bunch of chicken wings.
Don't talk about my
sushi.
Diet, dude. Not on the podcast.
Not on the podcast in front of all 4 people that watch this.
Dude,
come on.
Dude. He's not lying though. We had sushi and wings.
Chicken wings, yeah.
Bro.
Dude, like freshman 15 turned into freshman 425 pounds, you know? Like, Jesus Christ.
Wait, how? Yeah. Well, that's how it is.
That's how it is.
That's how it be when you get into college.
Speaking of college, our second semester of sophomore year is almost done. How do you feel about that?
I really like school, especially college, because I get to do what I want.
You fucking nerd.
But yeah, I know that's not something regular people say, but I really like focusing in on what I actually really like to do. At the same time, I'm really excited to get started with the quote-unquote real world, and it's going by super fast, which I think is sad, because I think although right now it feels like it's really hard, the rest of your life probably gonna be harder.
Yeah, and what's weird to me is like I've had friends come up to me a couple of times and they're like, "Bro, dead ass, we're halfway through college in about 2 weeks," and like I feel like they say that as if it's supposed to like mean something to me. But it doesn't. It doesn't doesn't hit me the way it hits them. To them, it's like, bro, it's insane. We're already halfway through one of the biggest milestones in my life. But to me, it's just like every Monday through Friday for the past like 4 or 5 months, I've just been like waking up, basically doing homework and then going to sleep. Like, I don't know. I don't know how I'm supposed to feel about that, you know?
Yeah, well, for some of us, our homework is like something we actually want to do in the future.
Mine is too, you jerk. For those of you who don't know, I'm an economy major. So I want to do the economy. I don't know.
And for those of you who I just told in the beginning of this podcast, I am a graphic design major.
Yeah, so one of us is getting
graphic design.
One of us is getting a real degree, though. They won getting a degree in graphic design. So all jokes aside, yeah, I don't know how to feel about it, because I'm not like crazy obsessed with ending college, but I'm also not crazy obsessed with staying in it. It's just been like, I don't know, these past 2 years haven't actually felt like I've been in college. Like I see all my friends on like Snapchat, they'll be like out partying and drinking, and then like I'm at home. The funnest thing I've done this year is we have fondue.
Oh my
We
God.
went out of our way to make fondue at home. And not that it's a bad thing to not want to go out and drink, just because like I just actually don't like drinking, nor have I ever done it. I just don't
don't want to in general.
Yeah, I just don't have I don't care for it, you know. And it's not to say that I'm a better person because I don't drink.
But you are.
Anyways, yeah, it's just never been something that appeals to me. And like just the whole college, like the stigma around college, where it's like, bro, you got to get fucked up every night. You got to like almost fail all of your freaking classes. You got to 8 a.m.s. Nah, more like never a.m.s. Am I right?
Dude.
Like, I don't know. That's not actually how it is. Like, obviously there's some dipshits who they focus their life on like living that stereotypical college experience. But it's like, I don't know, for me, it's just kind of, I go to school, go to class, have lunch, go to my other class. Depending on what day it is, maybe I'll have dinner there, then go to another class. Then I go home, and then I do homework, and then I knock out. You know, it definitely, like with the way a private college is structured, it feels like I just continued high school for another 2 years.
I don't want to be rude, but you ever see those people in school? you can tell that like they're really not gonna go anywhere.
Yeah, I look in the mirror all the time. Why?
Oh my god. I'm talking about like
the people who you can tell like
they're there for our football program.
We're a D3 school, guys. Not that like the people who are there for sports are any less of a student than we are, but it's like, you know, if you're going to a D3 school, you better have like a backup plan, because if you're going for sports, I don't think it's gonna work out. I'll be real with you.
Not that I'm talking about my school. I really like my school.
I don't.
I'm not talking bad about my school.
Just the people there. Well,
maybe some of the people there. I'm just saying, like, there's definitely people who like go to college just for the pressure of being there. Maybe they don't belong there. If they're not putting in the work that they want to, then why go?
Yeah, and like that sounds really mean, but it's like the reality of it is that college isn't for everyone. You know, you're not forced to go to college. You don't have to if you don't want to. I get like the story is different for other people, because my parents, if I dropped out of college, they'd be understanding of it. They wouldn't be like bust my ass for like not going on with my career, you know, my future. They would just tell me that, you know, you got to get like an actual job. You can't just be working minimum wage at a front desk anymore. You know, you gotta go find a full-time job that'll pay you well if you want to like survive. They'll be supportive of it, but they'll be like stern and make me see the reality of it, which, you know, you don't need college to survive, but it helps. Yeah, but also you get in a lot of debt. It depends on how you take it.
Yeah, well, for a lot of demographics, it's expected of you to go to college, even if it's not for you. And for other people, you're just pushed to the side, like
just kind of brushed off.
Yeah, like
that's just sad.
People don't expect you to go to college, but why aren't you in college?
Yeah, like I'll see a lot of people in like a bunch of my classes. They'll spend their whole time like surfing the web, being on their phone, just like texting. Like today, some girl was like openly watching videos on her phone, like or whatever. And, like, she was, like I could hear the audio. Like, she didn't have headphones in or anything. She was just blasting it. And, like, the teacher, he was a nice guy, so he didn't care, you know, because, like, if they don't listen and they don't pass the course, it's not his fault.
If I was the teacher, I'd kick her out of my class.
I mean, I feel like he's just had to deal with so many people like that, where it's like, if they fail, they fail. You know, if I kick them out of my class, then, like, force them to learn, then they're not going to like how they learned. But if I fail them because they chose not to learn, that's their fault. You know.
Well, at that point, they're a distraction to the other students. So
yeah, I get it. But someone told her to be quiet, and she's like, "Oh, okay." And she just like as if you didn't know there was people around you.
Thank you so much for turning off your phone.
Yeah, you know what? Class. As a matter of fact, I actually wanted to hear your friend's story about them getting like fucked up on Snapchat. You know, that's why I came to this class. You know.
Yeah.
You know, fuck the numbers on the board and like the lecture. I wanted to hear about this random person's friend's drinking story. Like you know, you got to be like conscious of other people. Like I don't get like that's like something like a lot of people lack.
Yeah.
You know, like especially like we both used to work together at a restaurant. It was like a little wing place.
Yeah.
By where we go to school.
It was little.
It was just a little big corporate franchise.
It was a mom and pop.
Yeah, the mom and pop shop for wings. They solely sold wings.
Yeah, only.
No, but and like just working in like customer service, you realize people like there's like no fathomable ceiling to the ignorance people have.
Oh my god, that's working in any like customer service.
Literally what I just said.
Oh.
So working in customer service, you know, this and that. Yeah, that's any customer service though. Yeah, that's what I said. Oh my god,
shut up.
Yeah, but I don't know, it's tricky because like at the beginning of the job, I was so excited. I was like, new job, you know, who dis and all
about
that.
To eat wings every day.
Yeah, about to have unlimited wings.
Why gain 40 pounds, whatever.
Yeah. So I was excited to work there. It was new. It was cool. A lot of people from school would eat there, and I'd be the guy they'd go to. I'd be their insider on how to get the the most food for the like lowest amount of prices, how to like hack the menu, you know? But like as time went on, like I like any job, I started to lose interest in it. I started like not liking it as much. But with this one, I actually like genuinely hated it, just because like the coworkers. But yeah, I won't get into that. But it's like these like customers, dude. Oh my god! Like imagine throwing a fit in front of your kids and swearing a bunch.
I'm throwing money at you.
Yeah, because you came 50 minutes after your order was placed, despite being told it'd be ready in 15. or 15, 20 minutes, and then complaining that your wings are cold as if we're supposed to keep them in some kind of oven or something.
And then those people to that have like, you have a sauce on the side and they ask you to heat it up in the microwave. They're in plastic cups. I'm sorry, we can't do that. Yeah, so that's so strange. Like, can't just throw a plastic. It's just room temperature. Like, it's on your hot wings. Just you heat it up yourself at home.
Yeah. Why do we have to heat it up for you to get home and have it be cold and then have to reheat it?
People are so weird. Next thing you know, they're gonna ask us to heat up their ranch.
You don't drink hot ranch on the daily? Like my water bottle. My water bottle is always filled with hot ranch.
Legalize ranch.
Yeah, legalize ranch. Shout out to Eric Andre.
Yeah.
I think we gotta cut it off a little short here, just because the kitties, they took a nap, but now they're back and walking around, and I just gotta make sure they don't like claw at each other. So I guess okay. So one of them's already running around.
That's cute.
Yeah. So that's really cute. The third episode of the DC podcast. We're gonna figure out a new name for it in the future.
That's right.
Anyways, thank you guys for listening. We'll be back on Sunday because now we're uploading twice a week, Sunday and Wednesday. Have a good day, I guess.